office of like, just throw the regulations out.
They're too regulatory. See, the Republicans are carrying the water for the Bell operating companies. That's simple. And it's tragic because it is under the name of pro-competition and free enterprise. It's just the opposite.
If this bill does become law, what will your company look like in 5 years?
Hard to, I mean, there are still a number of different ways where Telegroup could, for example, PCS, the Personal Communications Services, is a whole new angle on possibly getting around the local telephone company monopoly, because it could in fact serve as a way of delivering local service without having to put fiber optic cable or copper wire down every street. If we were to go out and raise sufficient capital to begin offering PCS services, you know, it would probably take $50 to $100 million to even offer it in a place like just Iowa itself would take at least that much investment, if not substantially more. Telegroup is in this sense, enviable position that we're large enough to be able to do something like that. But there must be 50 companies in Iowa that are so small that they have no option to do something like that. They either need to sell their customer base to one of the regional Bell companies, or go into some other business, as they will inevitably lose their customer base. Because every customer wants a single bill. Yeah, they want to get one bill for their local services, one bill for their long distance, one bill for their internet access.
All combined on one bill.
Yeah, all on one bill. One bill has everything there. A resident maybe even get their bill for cable television coming in. All one bill, they sign one check, they don't have to worry about it. So right now it is a bother signing one bill for this, one check for this, one check for this, one check for this. Right now the regional Bell companies and GTE are the only ones who are going to have that option to provide that. Even companies like AT&T and MCI are looking at only servicing a very small fraction of the local marketplace by directly installing landlines and switches and so on, because it's an enormous investment. The regional Bell companies have invested something on the neighborhood of $250 billion in current dollars over the last 50 years in building infrastructure around the country. For now somebody to be able to come in and match that, they'd have to invest that same amount of capital.
Or more.
Even AT&T can't do that. Unless you amortize it out over 30 years or so. So again, they're starting from a position up here in terms of the local market. Somehow or another there needs to be a meeting place. If Telegroup cannot get into the PCS industry, frankly, we'll just have to sell off our domestic customer base to one of the RBOCs or to DTE and focus purely on the international markets that we are very successful in and can compete quite readily in.
Those are international calls originating here?
We do both international calls originating in the States and also calls that originate overseas and even terminate overseas.
Okay.
As we have right now 3 switches installed. In a couple of weeks we'll be installing a switch in Hong Kong as well. We have 1 switch in UK right now, a switch in New York, and a switch in Fairfield. In 3 weeks we'll be installing a switch in Hong Kong. Over the next 18 months we'll be installing between 16 and 19 switches around the world, primarily Western Europe and the Pacific Rim.
That's clearly where our growth is. When we started this the international portion of Telegroup 3 years ago, or less than 3 years ago, within that time we've captured 2% of all international calls leaving the United States. So that kind of growth is just astronomically fast, and it's continuing on the same pace. And the way we are positioning ourselves throughout the world, we stand to be a very large international player, even though we do not have a natural monopoly like France Telecom has a natural monopoly when it enters competition, or the Deutsche PTT, or Deutsche Telekom has its own natural monopoly. But even still, we're poised to be a very significant player. kind of like the MCI of Europe. We could be the MCI of Europe, the second major alternate carrier.
Could ultimately take place, which is,
So we view ourselves very much as giant killers, or at least giant competitors with.
we can stomp on their toes hard anyway.
while we scurry around, avoiding getting stamped back.
Okay, and what, your current expansion plans, can you talk a little about those? What, you're doing something in Iowa City?
Yeah, well,
Portland?
right now we're scattered in 7 buildings in Fairfield, basically busting out at the seams. So on the housekeeping front, we're going to have to build a much larger building to pull us all together. A second office is going into the Iowa City Coralville area. And the other major points of expansion are, as Cliff mentioned.
Well, we have 29 offices overseas now. Over the next, by the end of '96, that'll probably be somewhere around 36 or 37 is what we're projecting currently. We sent invoices last month to 145 countries in all 50 states. So we probably send invoices to more countries than anyone outside of like Federal Express or
UPS?
Yeah, maybe UPS. I don't know if UPS covers that many countries or not. I have no idea. But in terms of we have about 2,600 sales agents around the world, scattered through those various countries.
And over 100,000 customers.
Yeah, it must be about 120,000 customers at this point, globally.
And we did $70 million last year. We project 130, 140 million this year. The Hong Kong switch being the wild card, because that is going into a very interesting situation where we could see a major jump in usage coming from that area of the world.
When will that be up again?
It'll be installed in 3 weeks after testing and everything. Realistically, serious service won't start until end of October.
All right, I think I have most of what I need. Can I give you a call?
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure. Sounds fine.
Okay.
Should be appropriate
I
phone
didn't bring a
numbers.
card.
That's all
Sorry.
right.
The same phone number will work.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Fred.
Yeah, it was enjoyable.
Yeah. I'll look you up when I get to Fairfield.
Absolutely. Sure. I'll get Janet, you can coordinate through Janet. Yeah. So if you need pictures.
I don't know. I talked to Jan about it